All right, everyone. Welcome to another hopefully great episode of Titan Avenger Gaming. I have Ross and Ryan with me tonight. We are going to talk about, not really a scheduled agenda, just kind of hit on some topics that are on our minds and come with you with some new information from Marvel, DC, sports, things like that. First off, how are you guys tonight?
Man, I'm fantastic.
I am too. Ryan, I know you
I'm
just said you
tired.
were tired. Yeah, I am too. With
Fantastic, tired, sore, all the good stuff.
with having being at a ball field almost every night, that kind of wears me down. Life's hit me this week. Well, starting right out the gate, let's go ahead and get this ball rolling. First things first, Marvel has released. We've been talking about it for months on our episodes, but they
hmm
have actually released some dates and actual official titles. Some were I think we kind of hinted on this, but like Spider-Man's being called No Way Home. Um, Black Panther 2 is going to be called Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Captain Marvel 2 is being called The Marvels. And then, I've, Ant-Man and Wasp has been kind of out there for a while now.
Quantum
Um,
mania.
yeah. So, like, I am a little confused about the Black Panther because I know they said they planned on doing like a little TV series that they were going to call Wakanda Forever. So I'm curious if that's going to be connected to it or if they have scratched that or things like that. And then the Marvels, of course, since it's plural with an S on the end, then obviously it means there's going to be other Marvels, which I know, in the video game, if you've played that game, they introduced Miss Marvel. There's other Marvels out there. Some reports I've seen, they thought about with the connection to WandaVision, since Monica's in there and that's the daughter. Possibly could she, which of course probably she's going to tie into the movie, things like that. So,
I'm pretty sure they. I'm pretty sure they've already confirmed. Marvel's already confirmed that movie will star um, Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and I honestly never remember the other girl's name, but Miss Marvel as well. Like I'm pretty sure all three
are you
of
talking about
them
the
have.
girl that's playing Miss Marvel? Is that what you mean? The name that you came
Like
up?
I don't know the character's name. I just know her as
Oh
Miss
yeah, I
Marvel.
can't remember the name offhand either.
But I'm pretty sure all three of them. I would imagine that it's going to just be about focusing on them. I don't know if they're going to bring in other people that have used the name Marvel like that. Because I was thinking today, um, I was thinking today about this character because people kind of brought him up on Twitter and everything, but not connecting it to this movie. But there's another character, a Superman-like character in Marvel universe. His name is Blue Marvel. Um, but I don't think there's a connection to Miss Marvel or to the Marvels there. And I don't imagine them overloading the movie with just a lot of or just new characters.
Yeah.
So, but I think it would be kind of cool, I guess, if there was a connection. Again, I don't know if there's a connection personally. I don't, there might be, but if there is, it'd be kind of cool. But I don't imagine them doing that.
Well, and I know in all the movies ever since Iron Man came out, we talked about the 10 rings in Iron Man because you saw that, that's what the people that had kidnapped him were kind of tied into. And then, there's a character like, which this was like in the old Spider-Man's with Tobey Maguire, when they were trying to come up with the name for Doc Ock, and they're like, Doctor this. And then the guy was like, Doctor Strange. And then Jameson's like, it's already taken, and people didn't catch that because some people didn't know who Doctor Strange was. But through just the Marvel Universe movies, there has been connections. And then it kind of, like in, you saw in Africa when it was like trying to locate special people. There's a place in Africa in one of the maps in the movies in the background, which is labeled as Wakanda. But it really seems like in this phase 4, since they're opening up all the TV series and all these movies, there's going to be a lot more crossovers. Kind of how uh, Civil War was, and then how Iron Man was in the Spider-Man movies. Because Doctor Strange, the multiverse, that's probably going to have some big connection to Spider-Man with the rumors that I've heard with Spider-Man. But that's going to be connected to WandaVision. So it seems like all these movies are sequels of each other. Like kind of like Doctor Strange is a sequel to WandaVision, even though it's not. And then Wakanda Forever, they've said, Guardians of the Galaxy, some of them are going to be in the Thor movie. Then Thor's supposed to be in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Ant-Man and Wasp, that's dealing with the quantum physics and stuff, which is what was in the Endgame, how they perfected the time travel. So I'm just excited. I wish the next 2 years, because right now the last movie on this list is Guardians 3 for May 5th, 2023. I know 2 years from now I'm going to say I'm ready for the next 2 years, because there's going to be other movies that I'm excited for, because
they're slated to go into what, 2027?
Well, yeah, because you're going to have everybody pretty much gets like 3 movies, so there's going to be probably another Black Panther. Thor's the first one to have a 4th movie, and they said somewhere I saw today, Chris Pratt said that he wants to stay in the Marvel universe. So it's, and then I've heard different things about other ways to keep Spider-Man into the thing now, since that new deal that they did. Could we see other Black Widow movies, possibly the whole thing with her and Hawkeye, the Hawkeye series that's coming out, which I understand eventually these guys are going to be 60 years old. I got it. They can't stay young without doing stuff, but I'm ready. Side note real quick, I don't know if y'all saw this. It was kind of cool. They showed images of all the scenes from the end game where they had to go and get the stones. They met the lady on the roof, and Hulk went to go get that stone, and
Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, and then they went back in time when Tony met his dad, and took, they went and got the Pym particles, and we got the other things. But it showed Captain America in his spacesuit putting all the stones back as they were removed. So like when he knocks himself out in that big fight in the Avengers Tower, and he walks away after he says, "That is America's butt." But as he's walking away, you see the new Captain America laying the staff down right there. And at the very bottom, like I said, this is all created by a fan, but there's a poster of like Captain America's helmet, and it's got like all the Infinity Stones around the helmet, and it says Captain America: The Last Mission. And I was like, I think I would want to see that movie. That's what I was telling our other buddy Luke tonight. I was like, that would be in not even a movie. Man, you could make it a 7-part or 8-part series where each episode is his travel of returning that stone.
Mm-hmm.
And then possibly the last one showing kind of the love story we never got to see. But
yeah,
anyways, I don't work for Disney, so
maybe they'll listen to this podcast and be like, that's a good idea.
Dude, then I better get the copyright right now. Got another person coming in here. So Ross, what are your thoughts about this?
I'm with you, man. Like, there's so many avenues they can take. There's so many different directions. There's so much stuff coming out, and let's say it was like 10 years ago, we're just getting started. What's up, David? Let's connect an audio. We're just getting started again. And it's also, so we're all excited about what's going on. I just watched the preview for the Eternals. Well, it said the Eternals, but it was more or less like a, kind of a compilation of all the movies put together.
Yeah.
And I was reading something because I kind of caught my eye, when obviously that was Stan Lee's voice, and talking about that's your sister, that's your brother, and it showed T'Challa and Killmonger. So I was like, I went and looked it up. The next Black Panther movie, I think Angela Bassett said that they were all going to be in it, except obviously for except for Chadwick Boseman. So I was like, are they going to try to attempt to bring Killmonger back? Is how's that going to work? I mean, I don't know, because you're talking about the crossovers and everything that the so many avenues that they can go off of.
Well, and the fact that now we're fixing to hit that multiverse thing.
Yeah, that's what I was going.
Because there's one rumor I saw where a new villain that's going to be introduced is going to be golly, the Green Goblin from the original Spider-Man's. Can't think of his name.
Oh,
Willem
Dafoe.
Yes, and that since he's going to be in this supposedly Spider-Man movie and all these multiverse, that he's going to introduce himself in another movie as the main villain to go, future on. So like you're talking about, there might be a Killmonger. Who knows? Might be played by a different character or a different looking Killmonger from Earth 273 or whatever it is, and they introduce him somehow. They were talking about them doing the timelines. I read this, that possibly them taking it, or Captain America, like there's numerous rumors and stuff out there, but him going back and not coming back into the future could have redone a timeline or something. And, just numerous rumors out there, but.
You know how we're going to figure out how it's all going to work out? We're going to figure it out. No, we're going to figure it out with Loki.
That's very true.
Loki should theoretically unpack how this whole timeline situation and multiverse situation, like at the very least, it's going to give us enough of a glimpse to give us an idea, and then Doctor Strange and Ant-Man and the Wasp are going to completely blow it wide open and show us what their plans are.
And I'm excited about Owen Wilson in that movie.
Oh, in the show?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Like,
I'm curious to see.
He's one of those people. It's like, yes, you're finally in the Marvel universe.
Yeah. Well, David, welcome.
I'm kind of in the middle of cooking. But,
in the middle of cooking? What are you cooking?
Chicken breast.
Hey, hey, that's his family show. We don't say that one.
Sorry.
Well, I'm glad we were invited. I must have not got that text. I'll look through here again. But anyways, we were just talking about, to get you caught up, they released the
trailer for the
trailer with the compilation, yeah, and they actually gave titles and some release dates of some of the movies now, like Black Panther is called Wakanda Forever and things like that. So do you have any thoughts or anything about anything you've seen or heard?
I heard that Michael B. Jordan said he would join the cast again if it meant something.
Yeah. And I've read that too, about some people who said that, not like Steve Rogers or anything like that, but some people that are on their way out because of contracts have said the only way that they would be back is if there's a good storyline. They didn't want to just be in the movies just to be there. They want to make sure that the storyline was good for the movie to be great.
Yeah, and also a way to honor Chadwick. So, that would be a good story.
Yeah, that would be good. Ryan, you got any more comments?
I want to be maybe someone, I don't think anybody here on this podcast, but maybe someone will find this as a buzzkill, what I'm about to say. I don't think they're going to bring in Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, either the same Killmonger or a multiverse Killmonger, to potentially be Black Panther. I just don't see that happening. It doesn't make sense story-wise. And I also believe that as much as different people are on the fence about this, or they go one or two ways about it, maybe not sitting on the fence. But I also believe while they're not in the Black Panther movie, Wakanda Forever, while they're not going to recast anyone as T'Challa and Black Panther, I do think there will be a recast of T'Challa in the future. Now, will that person potentially come in from a multiverse? I think that might be a good way to do it, but I do think they're going to bring in a T'Challa actor again, and the reason why I think that is because there's just a lot of story to tell with him, and I don't know. As much as I loved Chadwick Boseman, and I thought he did a great job, and he really made that character, just do you retire a character because of this situation? And I just don't know if that's going to be the case. So I do believe they will eventually, it might be for Black Panther 3, but I do believe I really do believe they're going to recast T'Challa at some point in the future. And yes, I know what Marvel has said, but I think you can also take that as we're not going to do that for this movie. But I think it's going to happen. Like I feel like it's going to happen, and I feel like it's going to be done respectfully. I don't feel like they're going to, I don't think they're going to stomp on his legacy, but I just, I really believe that's going to wind up happening because there's a lot of T'Challa story to tell.
Well, in the comic books, we're already seeing now in the movies. We have a new Captain America.
Yeah.
Because in the comic books, because it got to a point in the comics, every superhero prevailed, the bad guys got away or whatever, like Batman's always fighting Joker, and Iron Man's always fighting his guy, Captain America's always fighting his guy, Red Skull. And in the movies you don't see it that much. There's not too many bad guys that they continue fighting over numerous movies. They want to introduce new guys, and I got it because you've got contracts and stuff. But whenever Superman died, that was such a huge comic book. Nobody could get their hands on it. And having Doomsday, and I have that comic book, but having him die, Superman, the guy, the only thing that could hurt him was kryptonite, and he can do anything. It got on a thing where, okay, let's kill Batman. Let's kill Wolverine. Let's kill off the X-Men. It just went over and over, where they killed everybody and they moved on from things, and introduced, we're probably going to see it in the new Thor movie, but where Jane becomes Thor. Even seeing the male heroes become female heroes, or or like Falcon being Captain America. We're seeing it in some of the movies now. And so I can see that too. I can see possibly later on they, because they probably wanted to get a new Black Panther out because of where their Phase 4 was at. And they're thinking, well, let's go ahead and do it. We'll honor him the best way as long as the storyline's good, and we'll introduce a new Black Panther later. Like, I could see it because, like I said, it happens in the comic books. Why not push that to the big screen?
Well, I agree with Ron. Like, I hate that he died. It's such his life. It sucks, but he is Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's ever going to try to take that away from him or try to, replace him, so to speak. But can you really eliminate the entire character because the first guy who played it died? I'm with Ron. Like, you just got so much story to tell, and Black Panther plays such a huge part in the Marvel universe.
But do you recast as T'Challa, or do you recast as a new Black Panther?
I'm saying they're going to recast. They're going to recast T'Challa.
I think you.
My thing is, I want to see where they go with the second movie, how they portray him. If they kind of make it seem like he doesn't exist, but if they say that he died, then they've got
no. They've already said that their plans are to actually. The movie is going to be part tribute to Chadwick Boseman, so he's definitely not.
Well, I understand that, but then
they're not going to ignore him.
Well, I'm not meaning ignore him. I'm meaning like,
No, I know what you're saying.
but like, how are they planning on tributing that? Like I said, we probably won't know until the movie comes out. But
Yeah, I don't like that movie. I'll say this: that movie and the Eternals, to me, were probably the biggest mystery movies, or they're probably my biggest mystery movies. And I say Eternals, we've only got like a glimpse of Eternals, and it's really and truthfully, we got how they shot the movie, shots of Eternals. We didn't get any story-based things.
yeah,
And I have a feeling, I'm not trying to switch subjects here. I have a feeling why we got the shots that we got in the Eternals, because last week, Kevin Feige, or it was last week or 2 weeks ago, it doesn't matter, but Kevin Feige recently talked about how the director of the movie really likes to do practical shots. That's a big part of how she does it, or how she likes to work. And Marvel hasn't been doing practical shots for a long time. They've been using green screen and whatnot. And Kevin Feige was, bragging about that. Her name's Chloe Zhao. So director Zhao, but she, he was talking about that, and people kind of ripped it. Like, they kept ripping it. So I think the shots that we got to see, because I mean, if you go back and look at them, they're just chef's kiss. Mwah. It looks good. It looks really good. Like, I don't know how the movie's gonna be. I trust her as a director because she just directed a freaking Oscar movie. But those shots, those pictures, or the little tease we got, it looked beautiful. It looks like it's gonna be a beautiful movie. So, and I think that's why we did that. But yeah,
I guess my thing is, I feel like, depending on what they do in Black Panther 2, like, I feel like you could still like recast a different Black Panther, but be a different character. Like maybe another one from a different comic, and you could still even use some storyline stuff from T'Challa and incorporate it as this one. That's like the whole Ultron. Ultron wasn't created by Tony Stark in the comics, but they made it like this in the movie because he was originally created by Hank Pym and Pym Technologies, but they did that. So maybe you could do something like that, where take a storyline with T'Challa and do it with this new Black Panther or wherever you do. But I also saw what they were possibly thinking about bringing back Ultron for, I don't know which movie or what, but I saw that and I thought,
I think it's a good idea, until Marvel really says something about that. I don't. That's not something I'm not gonna hold any water on it.
Oh yeah.
But I think it'd be a great idea to bring. I think it'd be a great idea to bring Ultron back in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have Wanda, if Wanda is going to be a co-star of that movie.
Yeah. Like I said, it's one of the things I have to talk about it because I'm just too excited.
I can't. I'm super excited for that movie.
Yeah.
Like the movies that I don't know anything about, again, are Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Eternals. Like, I'm stoked about Eternals because of I've read the comics. And you're gonna get larger than life characters in that movie. And when I say larger than life, I'm really talking about the Celestials that we're gonna see. I'm super excited because we're not gonna get like, how like older movies would do this. Marvel doesn't do this, but like those older movies, like, they would take these larger than life characters and they would make them human and tiny size because of practical purposes. And we're not getting that. We have CGI, so we're going to be getting these big boys, and I'm super excited about that. But so I'm I'm most intrigued about those movies. I'm most excited for Multiverse of Madness, Shang-Chi, and then the Spider-Man movie. I'm excited for all the movies, but like I'm really excited for Multiverse of Madness because like if we're actually going to get to see different multiverses and everything, or like we're actually going to see different characters from the multiverse, that'd be pretty cool. I know that movie's also supposed to be like it's kind of a horror movie as well, so that's kind of interesting.
I know. Yeah, I saw that.
And then on top of all that, Sam Raimi is attached to it now, so let's go.
Yeah,
let's do this.
Well, we were gonna stop right there with the movies because I don't know. I get too excited talking about it, and then all my theories and stuff, they're either going to come real or they're not, and I'm going to be disappointed. But then I'm going to be stoked because something else they thought of was great. For the next little bit of our podcast, I just want to just chat, guys. Kind of get a little personal because we've been doing a lot of stuff with video games and movies and stuff. So I just want to spend a little bit of time of just talking with each other about what's going on with us, maybe vent. And then before we go into that, our third part tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about some NFL draft, things like that. So we were talking a little bit at the beginning, like with me. So right now, I'm on the go. Spending money, fast food places, and never knowing when to eat, because if my son's got a game at 6, do we eat at 4:30 or do we eat at 7:45 at night? If he has a game at 7:30, we could eat a dinner at the house, but then again, depends on where the daughter's at with gymnastics. So pretty crazy here. Not to get too much into my style that I want to come out with on the podcast, but might have some opportunities and stuff with job and things like that are stressful. For those of you that don't know, going back to school with my principalship, which is meaning I'm going to school to get my license to be a principal of a school district. That's exciting and nervous because I just got back into coaching, so it's more of a timetable for me. It might come a lot sooner availability with what I'm wanting than what I had planned on doing. So that's a bunch of stuff going on with me right now because I don't know what to do if something like that came available. So
if a principal job came available?
Well, if the job that I currently am interested in.
Can you say that online
what?
In a public forum? What the job you're interested in is? That gets you in like legal trouble if people out in legal trouble. But that gets you in trouble with people that might listen to this.
I don't think so because it's.
Listen here, school board of Star City of Sheridan, get over yourselves.
I don't think anything could happen because, I don't know. I don't think I would get in any trouble because I'm just saying that I would be interested in it, and
it's not like you're bashing Sheridan School.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that I'm going
like
to
I would bash Sheridan School District, but not on a public sense.
Yeah.
More in the private sense.
Well, David, what's on your mind right now?
Mine? Well, I'm cooking dinner for the family. I've been grinding late nights on Call of Duty. I want to try to get into a professional organization eventually, but
like what do you mean professional organization?
Like CDL, Call of Duty League
Okay.
professional. So I'm getting, reps in on online, trying to get better. And right now I'm sitting at a 1.5 KD.
That's good.
Yeah.
So everything else going good?
Mentally, yeah. I got a new air mattress. So,
Well, that's always good.
yeah. I don't like mattresses anymore. They're so annoying.
Is your brother being nice to you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. Me, not so much to him, but
Oh, okay. Well, Ryan, how's everything going with you?
I mean, it's going. I can't complain too much. The only thing I would complain about right now would be WB in DC, but I don't want to talk about them right now.
Okay.
They're stupid and they're racist. But yeah, I haven't got a lot going on. I'm just trying to, I am cruising along. The end of the month for me is when I'm probably going to be the busiest again because we got my church has a conference and all that good stuff, and then like I just I'm trying to plan out every single day and everything.
Well, Ross, I know you haven't had much going on, have you?
Oh yeah, I had a lot going on. So y'all can see behind me, but nobody else can. David, I don't know if you can or not, but this is a new house.
Yeah.
Instead of my old 2-bedroom apartment, me and the wife bought a new house. So for a little bit there, no, I didn't do any gaming. I haven't played Call of Duty in weeks. I didn't. I think for about 2 week period, I didn't even turn the PlayStation on, just because it was so cram packed in that room I had it in that I just didn't even try. But we got moved, and yesterday started the complete Kingdom Hearts series. That started at number 1. So I played that game so many daggum times that I know it like the back of my hand, but I've never beat it at 100%. Never really made a real attempt at it. So anybody who's listening, you can go look up Law Dog Avenger Gaming on YouTube and follow along. I'm trying to do a complete walkthrough of it. I'm going to try it. No matter how long it takes. I'm going to max out every single ability, get every single Keyblade, beat every boss, do everything you could possibly do in that game. And then just move on to number 2 and then number 3. I bought the package, the all-in-one package for $25 or $24.99, and it was originally $99.99. So 75% off if anybody wants to go download it. You're going to get it for a lot cheaper, and I think it's only till like May 13th. So other than that, everything's just working, and started working out again. Sore as heck, but I'm gonna try to stick with it this time. Other than that, life's good.
After you get good in that game,
What?
That was weird. Did y'all hear that?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say, Ron?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was having feedback for a second there for some reason. But after you get good at that game, like by that I mean like you max out, your toughest 3 fights will be the Ice Giant, Sephiroth, and then you're playing Final Mix. And because you're playing Final Mix, you're gonna play Xehanort. You're gonna fight Xehanort before you know it's Xehanort, but you're gonna fight him in like this little closet space, broken down room thing, and he's pretty difficult too.
Yeah,
and then also, if you looked up anything about Final Mix?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is something I would let you be surprised by it, but it's not like a surprise, and it's not like something that's just so, it's a surprise, but it's, not if you go read the walkthroughs, because I mean, it's not meant to surprise you. But there are some places in that game where, like, once you like if you like leave an area and re-enter an area, instead of it being like the normal drops of Heartless, it'll be like a special Heartless, like think of it like a mini boss, and you fight that, and you can actually get different drops, different item drops with those that you're going to need to get the ultimate Keyblade.
Did you play it, get the ultimate Keyblade and all that last time you played it?
No, I thought about actually 100% in the game, and then I was like, after I did that, after I played that game, I went on to 2. Well, yeah, I went on to 2, I did the in between game, Chain of Memories, which I hate with a very passion of 1,000 Suns. I hate that game. Like, I hate that game. Like, that game's not like every other Kingdom Hearts game because you got the card system. So before you play that game, actually go and strategize, because like there's people online that will show you the best decks to play as, because you have to use a deck.
Yeah.
So, and I hate that.
I played
Every
it.
fiber of my being do I hate that game.
I played it once a long time ago, and I remember that being an aspect of the game, and I was like, "This is stupid."
Yeah. So,
but anyway, I figure it'll be a lot less complicated, like as far as the storyline goes, if I play the other games. I never did because
Well, that's the other thing too. Some of those games aren't actually games. Like, you're just going to be watching cutscenes, which are good. Don't get me wrong.
358 and 2 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nothing but cutscenes. But anyway, so I'm doing that, and then I'm also rewatching the entire Marvel movies, like from chronological order. So I started with Captain America, the first Avenger, then Captain Marvel, and then Iron Man 1. So
I've done that.
I haven't watched them. I haven't watched some of them in 5, 6, 7, 8 years since they came out. And, so I'm redoing that just in my spare time.
Actually,
I'm
just
really
finished that a couple weeks ago.
Iron Man 1?
No, watching through chronological order.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, I just finished Endgame a couple weeks ago.
So I'm doing that. I love it so far. I'm, and then hopefully, I might do it. I might do it again. As time goes on, just to refamiliarize myself with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I don't forget, like, what are they talking about there? Oh,
Have y'all seen the new Star Wars series? No.
I have not seen it yet. I want.
You're talking about the Bad Batch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might actually go watch that episode. The episode that's out right now in a little bit, or I'll watch it tomorrow. I'll watch it at some point in the very near future. I like the Bad Batch. I that's kind of like up my alley, Star Wars wise. So,
David, have you seen it?
Yes.
Is it good?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It kind of ties in with Rebels and the Clone Wars at the end.
I saw that. I saw somewhere about that, about the Clone Wars. Well, I think we're going to move on. Ross, are you going to leave us?
Yeah, I'm getting kind of tired. I'm ready to go hit the hay. And, NFL, I don't pay much attention to it. So.
I got you. That's perfectly fine. But, Ross, good having you. Appreciate you. We will be looking forward to chatting with you soon.
Yeah, like I said, Kingdom Hearts, Law Dog Adventure Gaming. For anybody who listens, go look me up on YouTube. I don't post every day, but turn on my notifications and you'll see when I post and go live and all that fun stuff. So,
yes, sir.
Titan Avenger Gaming too. Go follow him.
Yes.
All right, I'm outie.
All right, man. See you later.
Later.
All right, guys. So before we get into that, we have anything anybody wants to talk about, or just anything personal or anything?
How long are you gonna is there principalship?
Well, as of last Thursday, I have finished all my classes. And then starting on this past Friday, I have started doing my internship hours. And I'm supposed to get 180 hours of internship, of working with or close with a principal to to see what their job is like, log those hours in. So I have until end of July, probably 1st of August to do that. And then sometime I need to take my principal job or principal test and pass that. So technically I don't have to do that until I guess I'm ready, but I need to get it passed. So I want to go ahead and do that ASAP, and that way it's already ammo's already loaded in case I want to pull the trigger, kind of thing.
What
But,
made you what made you want to be a principal?
I was thinking, what would David do if I was him?
What would I do?
Yeah.
Quit my job.
That's the reason why I decided to be a principal. Right? They don't do anything, right?
Well, not necessarily. They
No.
do a lot.
All right. So for a few years now, I've thought about it. A buddy of mine, Ryan knows him. A buddy of mine named Justin. He's living in Germany right now. I went through the master's program to be a teacher a couple years after he did. And we had talked about it for years when we worked together about he wanted to be a principal and we should go to the thing together. Well, then I came to Sheridan. A couple years later, he moved to Germany to get married and stuff. And so now we're down this road and I've just never done about it. Kind of talked about it, and about last November kind of came back as a little itch, and it was a perfect opportunity to take it. And like I said, me taking the classes doesn't mean I have to do anything like that. I can have this degree and not do anything, but I'm eventually going to do something, whether it be tomorrow, whether it be 3 years from now, 10 years from now, somewhere down the line, I will do this. So
You'll become a principal.
yeah.
I'd be like, so what do I call you, Principal Stout?
No, you can just call me Master.
That's not that's not happening.
But no, that's like I said, I'm done with my classes. So no more that I know of, no more homework, no more papers. I just need to log hours, put a portfolio together, which, that's going to be time consuming because I've got to sit here and log everything I do. And I have to connect it to, and you're not going to understand this, but there's standards. There's so many standards that educators are supposed to go by, like your mission, your goal, how to be fair to students, how to be involved with the community, things like that. And I have to connect what I do to those standards.
So you got to be like an utmost citizen.
Yeah. And so, like, the biggest thing is me taking the test. I don't do good with test taking. So when it comes that time, I'll just need everybody to be thinking of me and praying for me then.
Hey, you're a teacher. You put us through tests.
Regular assessments to see what you knew about the subject, not big test. Like it took me a while for some of my other big tests. I probably should, like when I took practice tests for the ACT, I scored very, very well on them. Mm-hmm. And then when I took the actual test, didn't do well at all. Because I get in my head.
Don't get in your head.
Okay. That is easier said than done. You can talk to my daughter about that because of her back handspring. She just quit doing all of a sudden, even though she could do it. And my son, who has continued to have bad baseball games here recently because he struck out one time and now he's in his head, he can't hit a ball again. Even though his first 6 at bats were all hits, and he was 6 for 6 at one time. And his first 2 out of 3 hits were home runs.
Okay, but the instillment must be the next shot, mentality.
I understand that.
Basketball.
I can tell you that all the time, but until you believe it,
yeah, it doesn't. Just words. I get that.
So, my daughter, I'm like, well, didn't you do the backflip right here? No one touched you. Oh, okay. I'm like, see, you can do that, okay? She can say, yeah. She goes to do it. She can't do it anymore. So, anybody got anything else to say? Because David, you asked me a question, then I got the rambling on.
You've got this.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't even sign up for the test yet, guys. Calm down.
Well, when you sign up for the test, you've got the whole signing up for the test in you.
Well, yeah, I can sign up for a test all day.
I believe in you.
I need a GoFundMe page, though, to help pay for my test, especially if I don't pass it the first time.
How much is the test?
Almost a PlayStation 5.
Oh.
No,
well, you better pass it the first time.
Man.
Thanks, David. I was already stressed, and now you better go.
There's a lot of pressure on you. There's a lot of pressure now.
Yeah.
Ton of pressure, man.
See?
Better do
I'm
really
not a
good job.
motivator. I'm the guy who will tell you the realistic. Yeah, you better pass it the first time.
I've already said this. I've already said I've got to pass it the first time because
just a whole lot of pressure.
I'm not gonna.
Wait, you said $400? No, sir. The PS5 is like $500 to $600. If it's just $400, that's like a whole different ballgame.
No, that's for the digital version.
If you need help, I will go to Daddy Moneybags and I will get money for you.
Sounds like a great option, but that sounds too good to be true because I'm worried about a bank that's going to be coming up with money stolen.
No, I'll actually help you.
Okay. Well, before we get a legal lawsuit and I get banned in 3 countries like my YouTube streams. So, real quick, side note. I don't know if I've shared this with you, Ryan. I know a couple of times playing Call of Duty.
I know about it. Like we talked about it. We've talked about it before.
So, playing Watch Dogs, which you get in a car, music comes on.
Mm-hmm.
So some of this music has been offended or copyright laws in Syria, North Korea, and 2 other countries.
Mm-hmm.
And I had probably about 5 or 6 different videos that were blocked from those countries. Okay. I have been playing Madden and streaming it for a while. My games personally, and then my franchise. One of my recent games was banned in Syria, North Korea, Iran, and another country because of, hold on, let me pull up the email. And please, if anybody for YouTube is listening right now, I'm not dogging y'all.
You know what? I know you're going to have an official explanation.
Owner using Content ID has claimed some material in your video. As a result, your video has been blocked in some countries. This means that your video is still up on YouTube, but people in some countries may not be able to watch it. This is not a copyright strike. But it's in Cuba, Iran, North Korea, and Syria. So copyright owner. So what copyright owner in those 4 countries have anything to do with SoFi Stadium, Levi Stadium, the 49ers, I don't understand that.
Here's my personal theory.
That should be the NFL blocking me.
Madden is so frustrating that those countries were like, look, we don't need any more problems. So they want to ban just Madden the game from their countries. It drains my soul playing it, and I play it at least once a week.
It was crazy. But anywho, all right. So let's move into our last topic of the night real quick. NFL draft.
Yeah.
Biggest surprises, biggest bust, things like that. Obviously.
Well, I'm not going to know any of that, but
you're going you're going to know some of the players, right? You know, like, have you kept up with anything that's been going on here in the last week, just in sports in general? Because
Yeah,
a week ago, your old buddy A-Raj says he doesn't want to be in Packers anymore and was being linked to the Raiders, Broncos, and 49ers. And now he's
Aaron Rodgers, if you hear this for some reason,
deal with it.
Listen to me. Come to the Broncos. We need you.
Well, he was just in Hot Springs a couple weeks ago. You should have talked to him then.
Is that considered tampering?
I was watching the draft. I should have gone over there. No, it's actually not considered tampering because I'm not an official NFL organization. But the Packers organization, okay, David, I understand that you're a Packers fan. Listen to me. I don't hate the Packers at all, but this is going to come across really mean.
He didn't hate the Packers, but
this is going to come across super mean. If the Packers were any good at their actual management of their best player, one of the best players, maybe the best player the Packers have ever had in their ever, I think there's a good argument for that to be made. We don't have to make it right now. That could be a future podcast, so like stay tuned for that. But if they were actually good at managing their franchise quarterback, then they would not be in this position right now and everything. If they would give him some weapons, all that good stuff. And then, they have done a bad job. The Broncos will not do a bad job. We're really good at handling veteran quarterbacks. We'll take him to the Super Bowl. In fact, honestly,
I agree that they're handling it the worst way.
Listen, Aaron Rodgers, just listen to me. You can come on over. We'll take you. You have weapons. You have a decent offensive line. You have a decent run game. We got rid of Phillip Lindsay just to draft another running back. It doesn't make any sense. But hey, we did it. So, we've got Jerry Jeudy.
And you have Patrick Surtain.
And we've got Patrick Surtain on the defense.
That you drafted 9th overall.
We have a loaded defense, Aaron Rodgers. All you have to do, you can do the bare minimum, which is what Peyton Manning did. You could do the bare minimum and probably take us to the Super Bowl. All we need is for a quarterback that's competent. And hey, if Drew Lock is truly the future, come and teach him how to actually play football.
Well, to be honest with you, there has been talks that the Green Bay front office wanted to trade him to Denver anyway.
Yeah, I think now, okay, anything could happen. Yes. I'm not just holding my breath for this to happen, but I feel like it's 100% chance that if he gets traded, he will go to the Broncos. I don't see him going to the Raiders because the Raiders can't pay for him. Yeah, that's just the truth. He's not going to San Francisco because San Francisco just drafted their quarterback for the future, who is going to, I guarantee it, start mid-season at some point. He's not going to start right away, but he's going to start.
The crazier thing to that is season. You could possibly say, do a 3-team trade. We trade Garoppolo somewhere, and you keep or trade Garoppolo to Green Bay to get Rodgers with some kind of draft pick, and then you have Lance learn under him. Or
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, but you draft Eli Manning and bring Kurt Warner in.
Listen, Aaron,
and then you think,
don't listen to anybody else except me. Come to the Broncos. We need you. We will go to the Super Bowl next year with you.
Because then the Cardinals did the same thing. They drafted Matt Leinart and went and got Kurt Warner.
Don't you want to beat Mahomes twice a year for like the next 3 or 4 years? Don't you see Kansas City fans and how just obnoxious they've become? They finally get good and they act like they've been good for all of these years. We all know that's not true. We all know that before Mahomes was there, they were pretty much the garbage fire team of all of the NFL. And now they act like they're the greatest team of all time. They're not. They were exposed by Tom Brady. Don't you want to continue exposing them twice a year? Once at Mile High and another time at whatever Arrowhead Stadium their thing is called, both times potentially in the snow. Sounds like a great day to me. Come on over, Aaron. The mountains are good. I've never been to Denver, but I've heard it's nice. So
yeah,
come on
it's
over.
Okay. So I think it's interesting. Jamar Chase going to Bengals to be paired up with Burrow. Waddle's going to the Dolphins to be paired up with Tua. Devontae Smith being paired up with Jalen Hurts. I think those are all
super nice. I feel so bad for Joe Burrow. Like, I get it. I totally get it. Let's get a guy that he likes to throw to. That's awesome. Woohoo. But, how are you going to throw to somebody when they're on their back the whole entire time?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Joe Burrow. He's going to be on his back the whole entire time.
They should have drafted somebody for protection.
They should have did what Dallas did. Dallas was like, our defense is crap. All right, here we go. Who are we going to draft? Defense.
But that's not who they were wanting to draft.
Defense. I know they wanted to draft Patrick Surtain.
No, they wanted Kyle Pitts.
Well, everyone wants Kyle Pitts.
But
I'm honestly, if it was not
why do you want that if you really need?
If it was not for Trevor Lawrence, like if it was not for the Jags needing a quarterback, I think he could have gone first overall. And I say that knowing that they're going to get Tim Tebow as the best tight end of all time.
Probably not, but
hey, man, it's going to happen.
Not best of all time. Like he's going to have to do a lot in four-year career.
It's going to be bad. He's going to be a locker room leader, and that's about as much as he's going to do.
Like they're going to have to do gadget plays and stuff with him. But I don't know. Like Trey Lance going to 49ers, kind of a surprise. I kind of saw Mac Jones going. I kind of saw Justin Fields going. But like Kyle Shanahan, still to me, he was coach of the year. 49ers should not have won 2 games with playing mostly second and third string the entire year. That's just my thought, not because I'm a 49ers fan, just Kyle Shanahan, like a guy that was on the practice squad running back was doing fine. And offensive lineman, you lose your star defensive two, like you lose 3 of your 4 defensive linemen on the line. You lost some linebackers who played some important roles. You lost 2 of your cornerbacks. You lost a safety. And still was able to be in the playoff hunt until right there at the end. I just trust him. I really do. I felt like he knows what Lance can do. Even though Lance only really had 1 full year, I feel like he knows what his team can do and how it's going to work. And then, he's got to have a team that's going to be able to move faster because Kyler Murray is going to move fast. Plus, you need somebody who you can practice with that's going to pretend to be a Russell Wilson and a Kyler Murray. Because, for one, Matt Stafford ain't going to be doing that. So I know the Rams not.
I don't know, man. Not running, but Matt Stafford with the Rams team, I'm super excited for that. It's the NFC, y'all's division is going to be awesome next year.
But
you know what? I have a praise for Kyle Shanahan and the front office of the San Francisco 49ers. They, if you graded on who played the draft the best, it would have to be San Francisco. I'm not talking about based on draft picks. I'm talking about the moves they made. They traded all the way up to 3rd. Obviously, we know this. They traded all the way up to 3rd. And then they let everyone run with this idea that they're going to draft Mac Jones. It's out in the open now. You can go find it. They liked Mac Jones, but ultimately they decided that they were going to pick Lance. Lance, right? Yeah, Lance. And they just, but everyone said it's going to be Mac Jones. It's going to be Mac Jones. It's going to be Mac Jones. And they decided, okay, we're just going to let them run with that. We're not going to tell them that's wrong because, they didn't want the Jets to, decide, oh, you know what? We really want this guy. They got Wilson, which is fine. I hope he does good. I think people might be sleeping on the Jets because I like their coach too, because their coach is what built the 49ers defense a couple years back, the past couple years. And I think the 49ers defense was, minus injuries, was really good and everything. So I like him. I like him as a coach. I think it's going to be a good job at the Jets, but they played it beautifully. How they got there is they did it so well. I mean, just you got to applaud Shanahan. And if it all pays off, look, I don't like to be that guy. I don't want to say, I don't want to put the cart just too much in front of the horse and everything. But if you're looking for who might be a NFL dynasty next, like the Patriots, I would not be looking at the Chiefs. I would be actually looking at the 49ers, because what the 49ers do that the Patriots did so well was, I don't know, the Patriots had Tom Brady, but what the 49ers are doing is they're making a system.
Yeah, they find people.
When you build the system, you don't have to rely on the player. Now, where the Patriots were not good is they didn't have any weapons for the system. They just had the system and they had the quarterback, which worked. But, theoretically, if they had the weapons, any quarterback placed in that system could still work. Maybe not as good as Tom Brady did, but it could still work very well. If you get rid of, if you take the Chiefs and you get rid of Patrick Mahomes, the system does not work anymore. It is purely behind Patrick Mahomes. We have actually seen that. They were very close to losing to the Rams or losing to the Browns. Oh, was it the Browns? That
Yeah.
They were very close to losing to the Browns after Patrick Mahomes got hurt. And it was more the Rams' fault that they lost that game, not thinking that Andy Reid would just say, all right, let's just do this and see what happens.
Well, and I said this in a podcast, and I know David and I talked about this. When you have a running back like, let's say Christian McCaffrey, okay?
Yeah.
What does he not do? For one, he is a fantasy beast. He catches the ball. He runs the ball. He does everything. When he is out,
You have nothing.
you have Mike Davis. He's not a receiver. So it's kind of like, all right, so your system is to give McCaffrey the ball. Not that the backup running back will be as good, but you think your backup running back would be able to just plug right in like you didn't miss a beat. He might not be as fast or as physical, but I feel like you would have a running back that would be like McCaffrey, just like Taysom Hill. He is not a Drew Brees, but Taysom Hill was third on the depth chart, and he got the play because he fits that system where Sean Payton didn't see Winston doing that. You brought up Tom Brady. When Tom Brady was out, Jimmy G never lost a game. He was 4-0, not including the games he took over when he was out, but he was 4-0 as a Patriot. Brissett taking over up there, won. He wasn't asked to go in and throw for 500 yards and do Mahomes numbers.
Yeah.
But he fit in that system. And they have like a 3-4 running back system. And besides Randy Moss, having that record-breaking year, besides Corey Dillon rushing for like 1,700 yards that 1 year, they've had the Wes Welkers, they've had the Julian Edelmans, who are not the Tyreek Hills of the slots. They're do a little slant, boom, 10 yards. Do a little slant, boom. You do that 10 to 15 times a game. And then they got a Gronkowski, which, he did pretty good early on. Then he got injured, and then they had Aaron Hernandez, and he did his stuff. But people could fit in that system, just like when you knew what, you think about fantasy, because, we've all done fantasy football. When Wes Welker went down, who are we picking up? If I had Wes Welker, who would you try to go after, Ryan? You would go after the backup for Wes Welker.
Yeah.
If Julius Thomas went down for the Broncos, who did we go after? Or, since Peyton Manning likes his tight ends, you would go pick up a tight end if he went to the Detroit Lions. Because that tight end fixing to be a guy. George Kittle right now. He could go to the Detroit Lions. We would never hear Kittle again. Because he might not fit that system.
Yeah.
Or he might do better. Travis Kelce could go to the Jaguars.
Where did Pitts go?
Atlanta.
That's it. I'm just here to tell you people this, the people that are listening to this. Probably going to have to, speaking of fantasy football, when we do our draft in July, I'm probably going to have to redraft most of my team because I've seen what's happening in this offseason and it makes me super sad. I'm coming after you, Pitts.
But, all these quarterbacks, Wills, I don't see Wilson turning the Jets around like Herbert did in Chargers. I don't know because, a couple years ago, the Jaguars were on the brink of a deep playoff run. But I think the one I see doing the biggest impact over this next year, for some reason I really do. I really see Justin Fields doing it, especially if he can stay healthy. The defense is fine there, so it's not like he has to go in and be a superstar. And he can make some of those guys look fairly decent because they've got some young guys on the offensive side. But Trey Lance, we might not see him until halfway, or eventually 49ers might be 6-9. They finally go, okay, let's start them.
Okay, so unless they just decide to go, gung ho about it, which that means they see something really good in the spring practices or in the pre-NFL practices and whatnot, when they finally get with the camps, we'll know he's starting if they get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo this year. Yeah. But 100%, he's going to definitely, I would imagine, unless Jimmy Garoppolo comes out and just is like, you know what, I'm fighting for my job and I really don't think he'll be there next year. But if he decides to come out and just have a banger of a season because, the competition's there.
Well, it's not Jimmy G's play that's got him in this position.
Yeah.
It's his health.
Yeah.
He was undefeated when he came in the trade. He went 5-0 for the 49ers. And then 2 or 3 games into the next season, I think they had a winning record, blew out his knee, and he was gone. And they went 3-13. Well, his next year, full season, go to Super Bowl. Probably 1 40-yard pass away from winning a Super Bowl. Now, look, I'm not gonna hold that against him because then again, the defense didn't play the way they should.
Yeah, I was gonna say that game to me. And again, I do this whenever you hear this, Kansas City fans out there, I need you to understand what I'm about to say. You can lose sleep on it. I'm gonna put my head down on the pillow and I'm gonna sleep just fine. You didn't win that game. San Francisco lost that game. I'm going to say that again.
And I don't even go
win that game. San Francisco lost that game.
And I don't even go as far as saying Jimmy G lost the game because he doesn't play defense.
No, Shanahan, his only kryptonite so far, because the dude is brilliant, his only kryptonite so far is like when he gets up on people, he doesn't put his foot on the throat of them. And if that's what they would have done, if San Francisco would have just put their foot on the throat of Kansas City fans, y'all would have lost that game.
See, I don't even
0-2 in Super Bowls.
I don't even think that. I think the defense didn't make any plays.
Again, no. Listen to me, Kansas City fans. Listen carefully. You didn't win that game. San Francisco lost that game. They beat
I agree
themselves.
with you there, but I think
San Francisco is 1-1 in that Super Bowl. You guys are 0-0
because they were up when he called that play to Emmanuel Sanders. So.
And if you want to, if you're offended by this, if you're listening to this and you're offended by it, come on, come here, and we shall talk about it. And I will trash your team till kingdom comes. And I promise you, I will get it more obnoxious whenever Aaron Rodgers, if it happens, if Aaron Rodgers becomes our Broncos quarterback, because we're gonna beat you twice. Because the time has come. We are tired of you running around acting like you've been the best team all this time.
So what are you going to do when Aaron Rodgers is only there for 2 years and then he retires?
I'm going to revel in the fact that we beat Kansas City 4 times and hope that the guy that we got to replace him as quarterback is, good.
Brock Osweiler?
No, we don't have – look, man, I don't know how much John Elway has say in this anymore, but I'm hoping that old Patton doesn't have a thing for like giant quarterbacks that look like bean poles that aren't actually any good. And I actually feel bad for these guys. Like, I want to point that out. I do feel bad for these guys. Like, they have their tall hearts broken. We chew them up and spit them out. No. But anyways, we don't need you anymore. We need Aaron Rodgers. Drew Lock, love you, buddy. Go away. Teddy Bridgewater, I don't even know why I really don't know why we traded for you. That's such a weird decision to make. Someone really said, you know what, Teddy Bridgewater definitely needs to be on the Broncos. And whoever said that thought that, just stop it. Don't think like that anymore.
They did joke. Denver does have Von Miller.
I don't know if this is part of the conversation. Do
a joke. Hey,
someone choked.
Oh, so
hey, William said Denver's a joke.
What'd you say?
William said Denver is.
What he said is Carolina choked against Denver in the Super Bowl. Is what he said.
Is he a Carolina fan?
Yes, he's a Cam Newton fan.
Listen to me. If you can just listen to me real quick. That whole entire year, Cam Newton kept going around, and I like Cam Newton. He kept going around and doing that like Superman pose on his chest every time he did something good. Yeah, Von Miller just kept on chalking this up, and he knew he was getting to the Super Bowl, and he knew that he was going to make Cam Newton look like, well, that's the word I'm not going to say, but talk about choking. Like when you fumble a football in a Super Bowl, your career, you don't sit there and go, my career's on the line. That's bull crap. You go for the football. It's the Super Bowl.
Well, Kaepernick even.
He was afraid.
The refs threw that game.
The refs threw that game? No. What threw that game was Cam Newton not being Superman and Von Miller showing old Superman what kryptonite really looked like.
Well, Kaepernick even mocked him when they played like the first round that one time, and Kaepernick scored and unbuttoned his little shirt and did the Superman pose and buttoned it back up.
You see? There you go. And you know what?
Can he beat
That's
Kaepernick?
a beautiful thing. You want to talk about a joke of a team? All right, let's talk about Denver's defense this next year. We got Von Miller back, fully healthy. We've got Bradley Chubb. We have a loaded defense. If we get a quarterback that can manage, we could actually have a repeat of the season in which we exposed Carolina Panthers for the crappy team they really were and everything.
Von Miller's trash.
Von Miller's trash. Well, Von Miller is so trash that Cam Newton was like afraid to even come near him.
Yeah.
When
So what
he
is Cam Newton?
Football.
So here's my thing. We got somebody talking from behind the scenes that won't with us, that has to talk through his brother's account, that won't come on air and debate with us on this.
What's up? What's up with that? What's up? Trash behind the scenes. No, you better confront your trash talk.
Listen, I don't know how long you've been a Carolina fan.
Like, hold on, Ryan.
I'm not against you being a Carolina fan, but I've been a Broncos fan since I was in kindergarten. So you need to know, I will walk all over these arguments. As a 30-year-old man, I will walk all over these arguments.
But here's my thing, though. Like you said, if some team is supposedly so bad, but you lost to them, then what is your team? You know what I mean? If that team went 1-15 and won every single game, and your team, let's say, went 15-1, but your one loss is that crappy team.
Which we weren't a crappy team. We were a defensive
But
team.
I'm just saying. But then again, Carolina didn't go undefeated.
No.
Denver's defense
was better.
Did not because you got to think about it. Peyton Manning's best career year and worst career year went to the Super Bowl. Both those years.
Mm-hmm.
The best defense got him and exposed the offense in the Super Bowl a couple years earlier, and then he didn't have to do anything besides sit down and put it on cruise control for that defense to win him a Super Bowl his last year.
You want to know how good our defense was? This is how good our defense was. Our defense was so good that Brock Osweiler was able to fleece $15 million out of the Texans.
Yes.
That's how good our defense was.
Yeah, the defense made him look good. Just like when we're talking about system quarterbacks, Matt Castle being in New England, took a big paycheck to Kansas City, never heard of him again. And then Jacoby Brissett became the starter for the Colts. Didn't do very well there. But
so if your defense can make a backup quarterback go to a different team and get and fleece them of a lot of money, then you come and talk to me about who's a choker and who's not a choker. But that's what we did. Also, I want to point this out too. In that same regard, props to Brock Osweiler's agent for being just a banger of an agent, because Brock Osweiler got paid and he barely played after he got out of the Broncos. I mean, just good for you, buddy. And he retired on top. That dude has his health. And I don't know what he's doing at this point. I don't care to know what he's doing at this point. But hey, that man got out with a bag of cash. Like, he stole from the NFL, and that's props. And it's all because the Broncos defense made Cam Newton look like a little punk in the Super Bowl.
Well, David, do you have anything else to talk about? Anything your team's going to do?
I don't know what my team's going to do.
I guess you need to decide if your team's going to have a quarterback.
I don't know whether we're going to enter into the Jordan Love era, or are we going to stick with
crazy.
I don't know.
Their relationship
as a fan, I'm just sitting back waiting.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. There's not much I can do. Just
the whole relationship between Favre, Rodgers, that whole deal, that was a very rocky relationship for a couple of years, and which some of it's Favre, some of it is Favre saying, "Well, I'm coming out of retirement, I'm coming to play," but then again, it's kind of like, do they trust in Rodgers yet, or what was it? Now it's, you draft a quarterback without telling them, hey, we're going to go ahead and get this guy. Because there's supposed to be a lot of respect there, just kind of like the whole Russell Wilson thing. All he's wanting is for him not to have to run for his life. But then again, we see how good he was early in his career. Not that he's not bad, just kind of like LeBron James. But he won some Super Bowls riding on a defense. Now that defense is older. The defense has went other places for more money.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was shocked that we got rid of Corey Lindsey. I was like, what? We got rid of our center? Like, dang. I was a little upset, but then I understand it's a business. So like I'm not as upset. If we lose Aaron Rodgers, yeah, I'm gonna be a little upset, but that's because of their front office. They couldn't manage.
Well, like I was talking
So
with,
I would be mad at their front office for not being, trustworthy and honest and stuff like that. So I'm not mad at if Aaron leaves.
well, I was telling Ron this the other day when we were talking about the draft and stuff. Like, would I want to get Aaron Rodgers for the or for the 49ers? Well, yeah. But I still want to make sure we were ready to go because in the future, because we'll have Aaron Rodgers, 2 or 3 years, because what's the chances of him playing into his 70s like Tom Brady? And I want to be good after he's gone. You know? I want to know my team is going to still be competitive. So either get a quarterback now and we can build on them. Now, then again, there's that back of my mind, like, well, we get rid of Jimmy G middle of the year next year. All right, now we're all in on Lance. Let's hope he's good. Now we got to think about getting another quarterback. Now, by the time we get a good quarterback, we start losing pieces on defense. Bosa might say, no, I'm done. Or I'm going to, and now people are retiring at 30 years old. The 49ers defense was coming into their own at one time, and Patrick Willis, great middle linebacker, 30 years old. I'm gone. So it's things like that nowadays. So
I was surprised when I heard Julian Edelman retire.
Nah, I'm not.
I was like, oh, well, I figured that he had one more year left.
Yeah, he had a bad year.
But with that injury that he had sustained.
I did like Tom Brady's post, though. He said that he was just scared to
tell Belichick that he was going to Tampa.
Yeah, like me. I thought that was pretty funny.
That's what I
But
see, I thought maybe he would retire and go to Tampa, and so, but I don't guess that's going to happen. I could see him. I mean, just like I don't know about Tampa. He would be a good slot situation for Tampa.
Yeah, I just think they would have nowhere for him. He'd catch like one or two passes.
They brought back their whole team.
Yeah.
I just like.
But see, here's
how
one
do you
thing about
do
that. But my thing is, that could either be really good or it's not going to be what people think. Just like the Cleveland Browns, I said it. They were like, "Oh, look who they're getting! Look who they're getting that second year," and they went. And I called it. They went worse in their second year than their first year. And everybody thought they were going to Super Bowl that second year with who they had. Now, they turned around this year because they got some better coaching and got some good players in there. But, but eventually Kareem Hunt, he's going to go somewhere. Nick Chubb, they're not going to have a two-back system.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to have that. It's going to be like, well, we're going to focus on Chubb now. And I feel like Landry or Beckham's going to end up wanting to go to be a role player somewhere.
I think they're more likely to get rid of Beckham than Landry.
I feel like, speaking of them, I feel like if there's a year for the Browns to go to the Super Bowl, I think it's going to be this year.
I don't think so. I think they're like 2 or 3 pieces away from being.
But that being said, if Aaron Rodgers leaves and goes to the Broncos, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who else is in the AFC. Just going to go ahead and expedite the Broncos to the Super Bowl.
You're right. Trevor Lawrence probably go.
Or he gets traded to the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Might work too. Although there's always sources. Again, I'm not people out there in the world. I don't really, I'm not just sitting around thinking we're going to 100% get Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. It's like, he's one of those guys. I kind of, I'm not going to say it's going to happen until it actually happens. Like that's how I feel about it. It'd be really cool. We definitely need to upgrade a quarterback, but I could also 100% see him. I could see Green Bay folding for whatever they want, for whatever Aaron Rodgers wants them to fold for, and keeping him around for the next, until he retires. So,
All right, guys, we're going to stop there for this latest episode.
go Broncos.
Go Niners.
Oh, and that's another thing too. Speaking of the Broncos, NFL teams, stop sleeping on the Arkansas Razorback players. You just didn't draft like a bunch of good players from the Razorbacks. And it's not just the Razorbacks that had that problem too. There's a lot of good undrafted players this year. And I'm sitting there thinking, why? Like, I think there was like a Tennessee lineman that should have gone in the draft that didn't get drafted. And everyone was like,
he got
what?
drafted. Now, I think he should have gone earlier. But the thing is, a lot of people focus on those pro days.
Yeah.
And so if you didn't do what they wanted after pro days, that's your last step in your interview. And announce the way they did it. A lot of people are like, well, I'm not going to the Senior Bowls, or I'm not doing this, and I'm skipping the combines and things like that.
That's the thing. Like, you have like Felipe Franks who did all of those things, and there was a lot of pro teams who were like, wow, this guy's actually really good. Like, he's, he could be something in the NFL, and he goes undrafted, but then he gets picked up by the Falcons, so that's good. I'm happy that for him. Yeah. But don't you sleep on that team again, because next year there's going to be a lot of players coming out into the draft that you're actually going to want to look at. It's actually going to happen. I believe it. Oh, dang it.
But then again, like I said, if they're that good, they'll get signed somewhere. That there's been more unsigned free agents that have made it to the Hall of Fame than there was first round picks.
Yeah, they actually signed all of them. All of the Razorbacks in the draft this year got signed by somebody,
but as
an undrafted free agent. Felipe Franks went to the Falcons, and then Rakeem Boyd and something Jacobs. I think it's Jeremy Jacobs. Both got signed by Detroit Lions, and then Xavier Kelly, if I'm correct, he's got drafted. He got signed by somebody too. So, but just go Broncos, go Razorbacks.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us, David. Appreciate you joining us. Ryan, again, Ross, Miss Luke tonight. Hopefully we'll have him back for our next episode. But be looking for big things. Anybody listen to us? Again, I say this. If you like what you hear, share it. Don't hesitate to chat with us, debate with us, whatever. Give us some topics to talk about. Give us some feedback. All right, guys. We will be coming at you soon the next couple of weeks. Look forward to that. And we are out.